On today's Soundiron Session, we're going to be breaking down a track inspired by the music of Avatar, so stick around. Hey, how's it going everyone? Craig here from Soundiron, and welcome back to another Soundiron Session. So recently I've been inspired by Pinar Toprac's score for the video game Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. The original Avatar movie was scored by the late James Horner, which beautifully captured the musical landscape of the movie. So we're going to listen to the track and then dive into how it was made. So let's check it out. Alright, so that's the track, so let's go ahead and start breaking it down. So when I first started working on this track, I wanted to infuse a little bit of that tribal essence into it. So I went to our rhythmic Odyssey, and we just updated this with a bunch of new stuff. So we expanded the content with some new loops. And I wanted to use some of those in this track. So you'll first hear it starts off with this pagan heart loop, and then we also have some other loops as well. So if we check these out, you'll see that we have this other loop, and this loop is called Nubian Heat, and you'll see that there are different time signatures and tempos, and I thought all of these sounded really cool together. So let's just go ahead and listen to some of the percussion. I'm going to skip up a little bit. So we can listen to how these loops sound by themselves. So let's listen to this loop by itself. And you'll hear I have it panned a little bit to the left. And then we have this other loop playing a little bit different, and it's also panned. And then we recently updated our Bamblong library, and I thought it would be cool to add that in this as well. So let's listen to just the Bamblong. So let's add those other loops with that. And then I have this crash cymbal going on. And then getting into some of the other percussion down here when the track kind of builds up a little bit, I also added some of our ape ethnic drums. So let's listen to all these together. So you can hear by layering all these different percussion elements, it really gives it that tribal feel, and I think it really helps sort of set the backbone of the piece. So moving on to the strings, to give it a little bit of harmonic context, I started off with some first violin tremolos, and then I also brought in some viola flattando sustains. So by combining these different textures together, really added this nice beautiful sound. And then I also have some cello tremolos and some low basses. So let's listen to just the strings. In the beginning, I'm also using a combination of some different woodwinds to give it that otherworldly and magical feel. For this, I'm using some Symphony series woodwinds with the flute slow swells, as well as some drone flutes and Irish penny whistles. So let's have a listen to just the woodwinds by themselves. And for the drone flutes, I'm using the Harmony C4 patch, and this is a little bit of some of the different phrases. And since this beginning piece is in C, these fit really nicely into this track. And then if you want to listen to a little bit of the Irish penny whistle, we could check that out. And then I'm also using some glisses from Elysium Harp to act as a nice little transition into the next part. And you'll hear that the track starts to build a little bit more in. When you hear the Avatar soundtrack, it really has this flying sound to it. And I really wanted to try to capture that by having these different chord progressions gradually just kind of increasing. So I wasn't really thinking about it too much from a key standpoint. I was just really just trying to use different chords to act as sort of a building type of sound. So you'll hear that also in this section right here. I have a lot of these arpeggios that are just sort of doubled, you know, having that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da sound. So if we listen to just these, you can hear how this sounds. And I really love the sound of these arpeggios because right here you can hear I'm doing an E minor, but it's an inversion, but I'm also incorporating this note right here, which is a suspended sound, but when you incorporate that into this, this really has a really cool sound to it, and so I really like that. And I think this really helps with just adding a little bit more motion to the track. And we also have some brass in this piece, and initially you can hear some horns underneath the strings to add a little bit of depth. But as the track increases in intensity, I'm bringing in some tubas for some low end support. And then to join the choir melody, I have some horns and trumpets to round it out. So let's have a listen to the strings and the brass. So the Avatar soundtrack is known for its use of female vocals, and for this I used our Voice of Wind collection, specifically the singer Phoebe, because I feel like her voice really had the character that I was looking for this track. So let's have a listen to just the solo vocals. And the Voice of Wind collection not only comes with legatos and different staccatos and sustains and different vowel types, it also has a lot of really cool phrases. So for this, I'm using the C dark 100 BPM phrases, and these fit the track perfectly. So to give you a little bit of context, let's go ahead and listen to it with the strings. And you can hear I'm using that second violin legato to play with that melody. And these are some different phrases at 140 BPM. So you can hear with the solo vocals, it really adds that human element and helps bring this track to life. To truly capture that epic Avatar sound, it wouldn't be complete without some choir. So for this, I'm using a combination of our Mercury Elements Boys Choir as well as our Venus Women's Choir. So let's go ahead and have a listen to this. I'm also going to solo out the solo vocals so you can hear all of the different vocals together. So let's check this out. Alright, so that's about it for the Soundiron session. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.